Hey, welcome back everybody. It is now, of course, June 27th of 2022, and just a couple of days ago, we got the season finale of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series by Disney and Lucasfilm, Deborah Chow, Joby Harold, etc. And now that Disney is trying to really figure out exactly what to do with the Kenobi TV series with the lead up with the second season to really further enhance the overall story, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but recently we have quite a number of things to talk about today because somebody very important actually came forward and actually unveiled the truth about the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series and exactly where it all really originated from and exactly what we could have gotten from all of that. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about Disney and Lucasfilm is that as of right now, they are currently really trying to figure things out with the direction that's being done by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, and others out there to really bring Star Wars back in action. Now, you guys may recall the famous Collider interview when Ewan McGregor teased that maybe, Kenobi's going to be a trilogy. He was laughing about that. He said maybe it's a trilogy. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to all of that because just today, alright, Stuart Beatty or Stuart Beatty, I'm not exactly quite sure how you pronounce his last name there, but he worked on an amazing movie, Collateral, with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. I do suggest that you guys go ahead and check out that 2004 hit movie. But he actually was working on a Kenobi trilogy. So in case you guys did not know, Kenobi was meant to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie trilogy. We talked about this lightly a couple of weeks ago. And today, Stuart just confirmed all of this with the direct. So it is a big story that's floating around the internet right now. It is a big deal for a lot of fans out there because it gives you a sense of exactly what could have been for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. So this is exactly what Stuart had to say about the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie trilogy. So he goes on to say, right, so not at all, none. I wrote the movie that they based the show on, and they twisted it a bit here and there. So yeah, I spent like a year and a half working on it, and then when the decision was made not to make any more spin-off films after Solo came out, I left the project and went on to other things. Joby came on and took my scripts and turned it from 2 hours into 6 and changed some things. So I did not work with them at all. I just got credit for the episodes because it was all my stuff. He goes on to state the following. So when I pitched my Obi-Wan story to Lucasfilm, I said, there's actually 3 stories here because there's 3 different evolutions that the character has to make in order to go from Obi-Wan to Ben. And the first one was the first movie, which was the show, which was surrender to the will of the Force, transport your will, surrender your will, leave the kid alone. So then the second movie was thinking about where Kenobi ends up. And one of the most powerful and probably the most powerful moments in all of Obi-Wan's story is that moment where he sacrifices himself in A New Hope. Great moment, makes you cry, but if you stop and think about it, it's a pretty sudden thing to just kind of go be fighting a guy to see Luke and go, I'm gonna die. That to me, that required forethought. That required pre-acceptance that this was going to happen. So let me just stop right here for 1 second of what Stuart actually is unveiling here, is that they had a Kenobi movie trilogy, all planned. What sabotaged it? Solo Star Wars Stories box office results. Who sabotaged the actual Solo movie? Who actually caused the box office issues? Well, not a big surprise, Kathleen Kennedy. The reason behind exactly why Kathleen Kennedy destroyed the box office results for Solo was because she actually fired the original 2 writers of the Han Solo flick midway through production, actually more than midway through production. That's when she hired Ron Howard, and they had to reshoot more than 80% of the movie. It cost them tens of millions of dollars, and given that the Han Solo film didn't really do all that well to begin with, and the fact that they had to pour a lot more money into it also, that's why it was an epic failure at the box office. So basically it was Kathleen Kennedy's fault why we did not get an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie trilogy. Not just a movie trilogy. And Stuart actually unveiled that there was so much more to what they were going to do. So on top of all of that, alright, you can see exactly why the Kenobi series feels very rushed. Basically, what we got in the series was a little bit changed here and there, some add-ons, some new characters came in based on Stewart's script, but they actually dwindled it down, alright, they expanded it, I should say, and basically they wanted to tighten it up. They wanted to tighten things up way too much. Now, he goes on to say this, so again, it's one of those universal things we all struggle with, to come to terms with our own mortality. So that was the second step of the evolution for me, that Obi-Wan now has to come to terms with his own mortality. Somehow in a prophecy or Qui-Gon Jinn telling him, there's going to come a moment when you're going to have to sacrifice yourself for the good, and then Obi-Wan is like, what? No, 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 I'm here to help. I can't, no. And get him to that point where Obi-Wan has accepted the idea that he's going to die, and that he's going to die willingly at a crucial moment, and you will know when that moment presents itself. So that when that moment comes up in A New Hope, you understand he's recognizing he's been on this journey already, and he's waiting for this moment, and that's how he's able to make it so easily, to do that sacrifice and die. So that to me was the second evolution, the second film, the second story. So for me, if I have anything to do with the second season of Obi-Wan, that's the character's evolution that I would take him on. That to me is really interesting, and like I said, is universal. He goes on to say, oh absolutely, yeah, for sure. Ewan was on board for this trilogy, everyone was. We were like, yeah, we are all ready to go, and we're so excited about it too. It's a great story to tell, right? It's such a fitting character, and Ewan is just so fantastic at it. He's the perfect age, everything. So, about Stewart's, overall thing about this, he goes on to also state, it just was dying to be done, Unfortunately, it was Solo that changed the direction of the system. I like Solo personally, but it hadn't made a lot of money. It is crazy in some ways to think about it, how it was directed by one of the best filmmakers working today, but just because it didn't hit a certain number, they just had to rethink, and again, way above my pay grade, but it certainly crushed us. Devastated us, absolutely devastated us. But that's the business, highs and lows. I'm glad it got made. I'm glad the show got made. I'm proud of my story that got told. I'm glad my characters are all through it, and with some new ones that actually were added in. And I'm glad I got credit for all of it. I wish they actually would have been able to make the movies. So, on top of all of that, what Stewart had to say and confirm were three major things here is that it was originally supposed to be a trilogy. This was a for sure cemented thing, a concrete thing. The second thing is that they did change a couple things from his script and what they did in the show. They basically expanded it. It was going to be 2.5 hours, give or take, of a movie, and they had to really kind of just expand that and put in some new characters as well. I highly doubt that he created the character of Reva, because Reva was really a new addition with the rewrites of the Kenobi series, and he also goes on to explain about a second season, and he basically is talking about that, and I think that what they should do is that they should add, of course, somebody like Stewart to at least help out a little bit, because he's got that movie trilogy mindset. So overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about Stewart's revelation here about the Kenobi trilogy. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.